What's up, Agents? Zero here, and guys, the long-awaited Pocket Edition Beta Update 1.1 is finally here. Now, they've added a lot of stuff into this beta update. I mean, a lot. And they're not even done. They were only able to get so much stuff into this first beta build. They've still got more that they're going to implement. I'll make sure to explain all that as they roll out, but we've got a lot of stuff to cover as of this video. And we're going to go ahead and start off with this guy right here. This is a llama. Now, llamas are actually a relatively interesting mob. They are actually neutral, which is interesting. If you attack them, they will actually spit at you, which will deal half a heart of damage. They can range between 15 to 30 hit points, so that's about, I want to say, 7.5 to 15 hearts, if I'm doing the math correctly. They will drop leather if you kill them, 0 to 2, and the only way you can tame them is just simply by trying to ride them just like a horse. And I've already got this guy tamed, I'm pretty sure. Yep, he's already tamed. I thought I already tamed this guy, apparently not. So, once they're tamed, you can actually do two things with them besides ride them. If I can, there we go. We've got ourselves carpets, and we also have ourselves chests. Now, these guys actually have an inventory, and in order to access the inventory, you have to first tame them, and then you need to crouch, and then click on them again, and now you can access their inventory. And here's the way llamas work. You don't put saddles on them. Instead, you put carpets on them. So if I put this light blue carpet on, as you can see, he's got a nice little blanket and headdress on. I think that's the proper term for it. And you can actually choose what they wear based on the color of carpet you give them. Because now he's got a different outfit on, because I've got the red carpet on them. And do the same thing with the lime carpet right here. And we've got yet another outfit that this guy is wearing. And this goes for every single color of carpet that there is. Now, there's one other thing that you can do with them, and that's put a chest on them. Now, you have to crouch in order to put a chest on them. And just like that, they have a chest. Now, here's the thing about chests. Llamas actually spawn with a set strength, which ranges from 1 to 5. And for each strength they have 3 slots in their chest. And I got really unlucky with this llama only having 3 inventory slots. That was extremely unlucky on my part. But whatever. So that's the llama. Now the next guy up, hold on, let me pull this page up. I don't have all the mobs fully memorized. This is the Vindicator. I do remember this guy is the Vindicator, and there's actually a brand new world generation called what is it called? It's the mansion. It's the Woodland Mansions. It's the Woodland Mansions. So these guys spawn in the Woodland Mansions. They're actually rather common in the Woodland Mansions. This guy actually was known as an illager. Take villager and remove the V. That's what these guys are. And this isn't the only illager there is. There's this guy right there. I'll get to him in a moment. These guys will wield an axe. And there's actually a secret feature where if you name them Johnny with a name tag, Johnnny, they will actually carry their axe regardless and go around attacking whatever they can find. It's a reference to the Stephen King movie The Shining, which is a horror movie, and I've never watched it because I'm a bit of a wimp when it comes to horror. Don't judge me on this. But these guys, they have 12 full hearts, so 24 hit points, and they will have a chance to drop an emerald when they are killed. Now, this guy is known as the Evoker. Let me pull this page up. The Evoker is also in the Woodland Mansion, and he's effectively the boss of the Woodland Mansion because he's a really tough guy. He has 24 hit points, so 12 hearts, and he actually has two different kinds of drops. He has a chance to drop at least one emerald. It's just a chance. And then this thing above him is the Totem of Undying. This thing is actually guaranteed to drop whenever you kill him. And the Totem of Undying is actually a relatively interesting item. So, that's the wrong button on my controller. So, if I go into here, go to my inventory screen, take a look. We have a brand new inventory slot right here. Now, on PC, this is meant for dual wielding, so you can have, say, a tool in both hands, or in PC they have shields. However, they haven't fully finished this feature just yet. The only feature that this slot has so far is the Totem of Undying. That's the only thing you can put in there as of right now. Now, what the Totem of Undying does, if you were to take enough damage where it would kill yourself, it has a really awesome animation and will fully revive you, which is really cool. Now, the last one we have is actually inside of this chest. This is known as the Vex. Now, this guy will actually not only deal 6 melee damage, but they can also summon these Vexes. And I am going to honestly regret spawning this thing because these things are extremely annoying. So, here you go. This is a Vex. They are summoned by the evoker here, and there he goes. They're effectively ghosts, which is the best way for me to put them. They can no-clip, which means that they can fly through walls and the floors and stuff, which is actually a command that's not in PC. It was part of a mod at one point, but that command no longer exists. It would be kind of cool if no-clip were implemented in the future, but yeah, but this is what these guys do. Now, the Vex, they have 14 hit points, and they don't actually drop anything unless you have a looting sword, which for every point of looting, you get a 1% increased chance of getting their iron sword, and that's what the Vex is. And these guys, all three of these guys' attack strengths are different depending on the difficulty that you're in. So, that's actually all the mobs that were implemented. There's actually one further mob that they were going to implement. I don't know whether or not it was going to be 1.1 or if it was going to be waited until later. I'm going to get to that as soon as it comes around, and we may have to wait for the next beta update, but regardless, the mob I'm speaking of is really awesome. Now, since we're done with mobs, let's go ahead and move on to the remainder of the update, which is blocks. So, here's the first crafting recipe we have. This is concrete powder. What you do is you place sand in the corners, gravel in the edges, and then one dye of your choice in the center, and that will give you 8 concrete powder. And this is all the colors of concrete powder that are available to us. Now, concrete powder is actually a very interesting block, I must say. It's one of the coolest blocks I've seen so far as building blocks are concerned. Now, the fastest way that you can mine them is actually with a shovel, just like their sand and gravel counterparts. But also like their sand and gravel counterparts, they fall. They follow the laws of gravity. However, they have another interesting feature. If they were to land in or next to water, check this out. It has solidified into a concrete block. Now, these are all the different colors of concrete blocks, and I really like the look of concrete blocks. They are so bright and colorful. I'm going to say that right now. They are going to be really good for making like pixel art and stuff. And these things can only be mined using a pickaxe. If you use something else, they will not drop anything. So if you're going to make a ton of concrete blocks, obviously you're going to need to first make the concrete powder, put it into water, and then get a pickaxe. Now, next up on our list is actually Glazed Terracotta. What you do is you smelt stained clay, which in the creative inventory is the rename of stained clay. We no longer have stained clay. It's now named terracotta. So now you smelt terracotta in a furnace and you get glazed terracotta. And these are all the different colors of terracotta. Now, terracotta is actually a very interesting block, I must say. I keep saying that about all this stuff, but this is actually a really cool concept. The way these work is that it's like stairs. Whatever direction you place them down on is the direction they face. And because of the designs on them, you can actually arrange them into a number of different ways to create a whole bunch of different like patterns. I'm not going to bother doing a video on any sort of patterns you can make with these things because there's already a ton of videos out there on YouTube because they were introduced in PC first. I simply recommend searching YouTube for Glazed Terracotta designs or something along those lines, and I'm sure you're going to find tons upon tons of videos regarding them. If I can find any sort of videos that I would recommend, I will have them down in the description. I cannot make any promises though. I will do my best, but yeah, so next up we have shulker boxes. Now, when 1.0 came out, we had shulkers and we killed them, we got shulker shells, but we did not have any use for shulker shells. All that they were used for was taking up inventory space, but now in this crafting recipe, put 2 shulker shells in a crafting table with a chest in the middle, you get a shulker box. And shulker boxes are obviously just simply another storage container, but they're not just a simple storage container. What's really interesting about them is that you can put items inside of them, close them, and pick them up, carry them somewhere else, put them back down, and they will still have their inventory. Kind of like ender chests, except these are a lot better because they're effectively a mobile backpack. Now, there are some limitations to the shulker box. You cannot put one shulker box inside another shulker box, otherwise you'd have infinite inventory, which makes sense, but also they do not stack. And there's actually currently a bug within Pocket Edition as of right now regarding the shulker boxes. As far as the inventory is concerned, take a look. These are all shulker boxes, and as you can see, they're all named different colors. This is the bug. They do not actually have their colors in their inventory screen, which is a bit of a bummer. It made it a little bit more difficult to set this up, but whatever. Now, these actually have an interesting animation when you open them up, which I'm going to try to show you guys right now, but it's not going to be easy. So maybe if I look down here, if you guys look above my inventory screen, you can see that the top of the shulker box has opened. If I go ahead, it's going to close back down. Now, I'm going to go ahead and open this a second time. Pay close attention once again to right above my inventory screen. It spins open and goes up at the same time. Now, when these things are open, they are 2 blocks high. Now, whether or not you can use them as platforms, I do not know. I did not happen to have somebody to help me test that. But because they're 2 blocks high, you have to make sure there's open space above them, including transparent blocks like this slab. So if I go ahead and try to open this, nothing is happening. And as soon as I flick this lever back up, I can open the shulker box once again. And they're similar to stairs in that you can actually place them in multiple directions. This one is actually facing sideways. So if you guys pay attention to the right-hand side of my inventory screen when I open this. Okay, so that wasn't actually very well oriented, but let me try this again. They actually open to the side, and this goes for whatever direction they're facing. You just have to make sure you're facing them in a direction that they can open. They can go in all 6 directions. North, south, east, west, up and down, it doesn't matter. Now, you can also color shulker boxes if you really want to, which is, I want to say this is actually different from PC. I think in PC you just simply shift right click a shulker box with a die and it makes a dyed shulker box. However, in Pocket Edition, you place a shulker box combined with a die of your choice and you get yourself a dyed shulker box. In this case, a black shulker box, and you can dye them pretty much any color you want, obviously. Now, the default crafting recipe for these are purple, because when you get shulker shells from shulkers, they're already purple. So that does make a lot of sense. Next up is actually not a new crafting recipe, but the crafting recipe has been updated. These are beds. Now, you guys already know what the recipe is. 3 planks and 3 wool, you get a bed, but their crafting recipe has been updated. As you can see, I've got 3 white wool in this crafting recipe, and it gives me a white bed. If I were to do 3 red wool, it would give me a red bed, and that gives me a ton of different choices for me to make beds, and these are actually all the different colors of beds you have available. And they actually added something really cool to the beds. They now allow you to bounce. Here, let me go ahead and go into first person here, or third person I should say. I just jump once and I bounce, just like a slime block. However, unlike slime blocks, they will not protect you from falls. So if you want to jump from a long height, or a big height I should say, and you want to land on something and bounce, use slime blocks, do not use beds. They will only do this much. They will not protect you from a fall. Next up we have is wool, which admittedly is not new to the game, but their textures have been updated. They're actually a lot brighter than they used to be, and the same goes with carpets. They are a lot brighter than they used to be, and I actually like the way these look now. They are very bright to me. I'm going to be using these a lot more often. I'm probably going to be doing some pixel art, combining these with the actual concrete blocks all the way over there, because this is just a really cool concept. The fact that they update the colors. I wish they would update the colors for the stained clay, which is now technically terracotta, but I guess Mojang has their reasons. If they could make that a little brighter, that would be nice, but I don't think they're going to do that anytime soon. Next, we have a brand new item. We have iron nuggets. Now, you actually get these from smelting down iron tools and weapons and armor. And my gosh, I have a bit of a lag spike. So, you get iron nuggets now. Now, you can also do the exact same thing with gold tools, weapons, and armor. And you get gold nuggets from smelting them, you get iron nuggets from smelting these down, and just like gold nuggets, you can craft 9 into a single crafting table and get an iron ingot out of that, which is really nice. So if you have a bunch of iron tools that you're not going to use, or they're just about to die, you can smelt them down, get yourself an iron nugget, hold up enough iron nuggets, craft yourself iron ingots, you got yourself some free iron. Now, one thing that I found that was a bit disappointing is that you cannot use these to craft chainmail armor, which would actually make perfect sense to have iron nuggets craft into chainmail armor, but whatever. Now, as far as blocks are concerned, that's it, but there's actually 2 other things that were added into the game, and they're dealing with commands. First, we have a brand new game mode, Adventure. Now, adventure mode basically means that you're in a survival setting, but you cannot break blocks of any sort. You can attack all you want onto blocks. In fact, even if you have the proper tool to mine down a block, you won't be able to. So that's what adventure mode is. And lastly, we have some brand new game rules. When we got the command blocks, we actually got a handful of game rules, and with this beta update, we got a whole handful more of game rules. Now, I'm not going to be covering these game rules right now in this video because there's like 9 of them that I found, and I'd rather do a separate video on them to better explain those game rules in better detail. But with that, that's actually going to have to do it for this beta update video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. Want more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button for future content. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at AgentCPU0 to stay updated. This has been Zero Studios. Thank you guys for watching, and with that, I will see you guys later.